Your Holiness, as a spiritual leader, one who has strives and continues to live a life dedicated to peace by working for justice, you are truly a living witness to the greatest aspirations of our university. And thus, we are very honored today to present to you the University of San Diego Medal of Peace.
That is maybe closer here. No. And then clearly shows there's something related with this person. If it remain here, then nobody knows. Not very sure. Thank you. Thank you much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Perhaps I take a few moments. I would like to speak or stand. Sort of show my respect. Now, each place, mainly university, where I speak, I got this kind of cap. So very useful. So, the morning, I got another sort of cap, Hasadi, University
of California, San Diego.
Then I little sort of doubt whether I should wear that or my own sort of cap. Yeah. Then I thought maybe if I kept, you see that one received from another university, that you may find some little
Annoyed.
Annoyed.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. So then I saw this there, but till someone give me this, I cannot touch. So I wear that my own sort of the old one. Okay, now. Indeed, I'm very, very happy and great honor to receive you this
Medal of Peace.
Medal. Thank you very much. I'm just another human being. We are same. But this kind of awards or some sort of the medals, then I feel, oh, this is some kind of recognition. My small contribution for serving humanity in order to bring happier. So thank you very much. Firstly, you invited me here. And secondly, you see, you give me this. So thank you. Then I really impressed. Now, number of places and different countries. Now, quite often, I'm hearing compassion, peace, non-violence. And not only that, just a word, but many places, including this university, you see, there are pockets who are really making actual effort, implementation way, or effort, more awareness, about the value of compassion. So now, the topic is my talk, peace and justice. We have to know what's the real meaning of peace. If we consider peace is simply mere absence of trouble or violence, then sometimes under injustice rule, some superficial peace also possible. And opposite, for justice, some violence also sort of involved. Now when we sort of get deeper understanding about peace, that means, you see, firstly, genuine peace must come through inner peace. Not out of fear, not out of some kind of
Appearance, just
appearance.
superficial appearance.
Peace must come through inner peace. So actually, violence and non-violence demarcation, not on action, but on motivation. There are 3 levels of action: physical action, verbal action, mental action. 3 levels. So ultimate demarcation, peace and violence, is related with motivation, mental action. So for example, with sincere sense of concern of others' well-being, including sort of children or students, their well-being, or mother or teacher, sometimes using a little bit sort of harsh word or sort of harsh face.
Method.
But this actually non-violence, because that kind of physical action or verbal action come out of genuine sense of concern of their well-being. So essentially that is non-violence. Other hand, motivation, want to cheat, want to exploit, want to take advantage, and then use nice word, praising, and including some sort of gift. Physical action looks non-violence. Verbal action looks non-violence. But because of the motivation, want to harm that. So essentially, violence. So the ultimate demarcation, violence and non-violence, is entirely based on motivation here. So, out of compassion, or sense of genuine concern of others' well-being, then any action, essentially non-violence. So non-violence, because of the non-violence, we can say non-violence is the reflection, expression of warm-heartedness. So long you have genuine concern of others' well-being, then justice automatically comes. Because there is no room, desire or action harming other or injustice. And then injustice, I think again, ultimately, demarcation is anything which helpful other. Mainly long run helpful. Any action, I think that's just action. Any action, long run, harmful, is, I feel, unjust. So therefore, I think every human action, those sort of the effective human action, through motivation. So now, key thing is warm-heartedness. Actually, the sense of concern of others' well-being. Now here, I often use explaining the compassion or sense of concern of others' well-being. You see, there are two levels. One level, mainly biological factor. Those social animals, and also particular, I think social animal, and then also the mammals. You see, they are youngsters. For youngsters' survival depend on others' care. Then, biologically, it equipped some kind of motivation, some kind of emotion, taking care, tremendous sense of concern of their well-being. That's not only human beings, but many birds and animals, obviously like dogs, cats. So they are youngster, their survival. So they entirely depend on care by mother or their
parents.
their relatives. So that's the basic nature. So according to that nature, we equipped the sense of sort of closeness feeling, sense of sort of concern of others' well-being. So that's one level, biological level. That is common with other species of mammals, which sort of same sort of kind of way of sort of survival. Last few days I spent in Hawaii. And one time, my previous visit Hawaii, I expressed, I wish some people there, you see, carry some sort of research. Some turtle, the mother turtle, come shore
on the shores.
On the shores, then dig on sand, then egg lay down, then cover, then mother go. Then they young turtles, when they
Hatch.
they themselves sort of have to fight for their own survival. Some sea birds, there are a lot of things, but they, I think, timing sometimes during night. So mother turtle, not there. So therefore, the nature creates such thing. Their youngsters have to survive by their own effort. No need mother's care. So, emotionally not equipped, taking care, their youngsters. So therefore, I'm still curious. So those who see young turtle and kept, and then some mark on the mother turtle at the time of
laying the eggs.
laying the eggs. Laying eggs, some sort of mark. Then try to put together her youngster and mother. I don't think they have the sort of
Ability.
because of the ability, or I don't know, a sense, you see, her caring the mother caring the youngster, tremendous sort of closeness feeling towards mother. I don't think. Because nature is such. Their survival not depend on others' care. Others, including ourselves, we human beings. So that is the biological factor. That always oriented others' attitude. If in case the mother, you see, show negative attitude always to the children, to the youngster, then maybe change. Because it depends on others' attitude. So that always biased, limited. Now, that kind of sort of compassion, that kind of sense of caring of other, sense of concern of others' well-being, take as a seed. Then use human intelligence. Think, what benefit if we have compassion? The opposite of the compassion is anger, mainly hatred. What benefit? Hatred. If we analyze, if we objectively observe these different emotions, although all these emotions are part of our mind and part of our nature, like external matter. So some are useful for our health, some are harmful for our health. But we never say, this is just a nature. We try to investigate, and then these two different things mixed or synthesized, then we might find some useful things. That we usually do. So why not? Since we really making investigation, what's the very sort of nature or sort of usefulness, the harmfulness of these matters. So similarly, in our emotion world, not just one single sort of mind, the thousands of different sort of emotions, different minds. So worthwhile to investigate among these different emotions. What kind of emotion effect, what kind of sort of result? What kind of emotion, what effect on us? And obviously, I think everybody here, I think all have the experience of anger. When you fully develop anger, whether with reasons or no reasons, I think during that moment, if your friend brings some good, nice food, I think you may not get good taste. Full of anger here. And you may not get sound sleep. Isn't it? So usually, you see, our method is too much worry, too much stress, and about develop frustration, anger. Then usually what we do is go outside, picnic, and see or listen to music, and all this trouble forget for the time being, or relax, or tranquilizer, or alcohol, or drugs. These are temporary methods. This confirmed everybody experience some emotions are really disturb our mind. That's clear. No need proof, no need reason. Then, like sort of compassionate feeling, warm feeling. Once that develop, your stress reduce, blood pressure reduce. Even your meal, the other day in Hawaii, I just expressed, I want to have native food. So then, next day, my lunch, they arrange also, you see, the native food. When I start taste. But I have deep respect, deep respect. So, even you see, not delicious, but still you feel some kind of sort of closeness with that because of respect of the local people, indigenous people, their way of life, their sort of also the food, their culture. So the poor family, their sort of meal may not be wonderful, but with their friends, full of trust, full of sort of respect, mutual respect, trust. Or the food, then secondary, not important. Other hand, big restaurant, a lot of expensive food, expensive wines, right? But taking with some person, you have feeling of jealousy, feeling of suspicion, feeling of distrust. You may not really get the enjoyment which suppose you should bring these facility. This is our common experience, isn't it? So it is really worthwhile not only taking care about external material things, but also, you see, extremely important to take care about our inner different emotions. That's very important. So materialistic society never bother about these things. Yes, many people, you see, follow religious faith. So the faith, tremendous sort of, faith towards God as a creator, according to theistic religion, as a creator, tremendous sort of faith towards God. That means you totally submit to God. So that mental attitude reduces extreme self-centered arrogance. So many emotions which based on that kind of self-centeredness will reduce. So it works. So whether believer or non-believer, it's really worthwhile having some knowledge about map of the mind or emotions. Then it is really helpful to know the different sort of effects of these different emotions. Then, as external matters synthesize or further sort of experiment, similarly, carry further sort of experiment about these different emotions, then eventually you will find certain ways to reduce these destructive emotions and increase positive emotions. So that's the way to cultivate or to nurture our sort of positive emotion which come from nature, right? Based on biological factor. Further nurturing that, then it reach second level of compassion. Now that unbiased. Now here is one slogan.
Compassion without borders.
Compassion without border. The biological factor of compassion is with border. Only your own relatives. As soon as one of your relatives' attitude change, their compassion no longer there. Instead of compassion, you develop suspicion, hatred, anger. So now, through training does not mean meditate or prayer, but simply use our common sense and utilize the latest scientific findings. Those sort of medical scientists and also the brain specialists, now they begin to say,
Explore.
because they start interest about mind or emotions, because their sort of research really reach very deep about brain. Then the brain activities and emotions very close link. Sometimes certain emotion, but previously every emotion must take place due to brain's activities. Nowadays, different views now beginning through sheer training of mind, some change on our brain. And because brain
Plasticity.
So the discovery of plasticity seems to have opened a way in which we can understand how deliberate conscious thought processes can actually affect changes on the brain level.
So through mere sort of single pointed thinking or some other sort of training of mind actually effect on our brain. So whether you accept or whether you understand the continuation of that mind or not, that's a different matter. For the time being, different matter. But the feeling is there. The cognitive power is there. It's really matter of important matter for our daily life. More peaceful, more calm mind. These emotions are very, very sort of related. So therefore, the scientists now begin to investigate about relation, emotions, and neurons, these things. So it is immense helpful. So they found calm mind, more calm mind, really your physical the elements create more balance. So that way, your physical condition improve. Recover from illness also much faster. I think simply mental state, hopeful sort of, and hopeful and fresh mind, immense benefit. Completely lost hope and demoralized. Very bad for our health. So in order to develop calm mind, fear is the destroyer of calm mind. Distrust, destroyer, opposite. Anger, hatred, all these are actually destroyer of peace of mind, calm mind. These destroyer, through material sense, we never defend. We cannot defend because of these destroyer within ourselves. External destroyer come, and you can
put defenses.
You can put defenses. So, actually, we can say, actual destroyer of your happiness is actually enemy. That kind of enemy is within yourself. So the proper way to combat that, we must find within our own mind, within ourselves. So it is really worthwhile more study about the nature of mind or emotion and its sort of systems. Now here, in order to reduce this destroyer of inner peace, the only way is increasing these opposite mind. For example, the hatred, anger, or suspicion, distrust. You must develop compassion, sense of concern of their well-being. That compassion, sometimes the people feel, I feel compassion. That's some kind of pityness feeling. Not that. Genuine sort of sense of concern, very much based on respect, others' right, others' being. So that kind of compassion is really very kind of noble sort of emotion, like that. So that emotion or that kind of mind increasing, then distrust reduce. Even distrust with fact, you take little cautious, but still you respect that person. So like enemy, you know the person really harms you, hates you, and creates trouble for you. And yet, you see, we can keep genuine sense of compassion, sense of concern of their well-being on the level of they also human being, most cases human being. They also human being, just like myself. And then, moreover, these also, you see, my future depends on these people. So with that kind of sort of knowledge, still respect. So we can make distinction, actor and action. There are negative action towards you, that sometimes you need counter sort of measure, oppose, stop, try to, stop that. But meantime, respect that person and still keep genuine sense of compassion, sense of concern of well-being. That you can do. I think to oneself, sometimes we made some mistake. Then sometimes we angry to ourselves, to oneself. But that very anger, you see, develop because of you love yourself. You cherish it.
Because you care for yourself.
Oh. So similarly, out of sort of serious caring about the enemy as a human brothers, sisters, their wrongdoing, long run, very harmful for their own future, for their own interest. Therefore, out of that sort of motivation, then try to stop different ways, if possible. If not possible, then okay. then nothing can be done.
There's a Tibetan saying, and the Tibetan word for temper rhymes with knuckles. So the saying is, when you lose your temper, just bite your knuckles.
But it is impossible to stop that. Just let angry no good. So then, bite. So at least there's some pain that distracted your anger. Like that, I think that way. So in any way, through education, through awareness, I think we can develop deeper understanding about the system of our inner world. Through that way, we can develop genuine inner peace. Once that inner peace develop, justice automatically comes. So my way, and many others of my friends, many scientists, many sociologists, and educationists who really concerned about our sort of youth, younger generation, some sort of, violence, some kind of unhealthy things happening. So as a result, now many occasions we're discussing what is the real causes of this unrest. And also many sort of richer family, materially, everything there, but still feel some kind of, as a person, very unhappy person. So these sort of, so a matter which brings our questions. Yeah. Oh, plenty of money. Their life, very luxurious life, but still not happy. What's wrong? It confirmed us material values, material facility have the ability to provide physical comfort, not mental comfort. With money, some satisfaction in mental, that's temporary. Long run, mental comfort must develop within mind itself through training of mind with awareness of the mental system. So therefore, this is my way.
No.
So that's about my talk. So I'm extremely happy. You see, more and more people now really showing genuine interest, genuine concern about peace of mind. So the global level or national level, family level, or individual level, everybody want, the all level, the ultimate source of happiness is within ourselves. So person who have certain way of sort of, because of the way of thinking and certain views, then no matter what the surrounding situation, you may surrounded by hostile sort of atmosphere, but still you can keep peace of mind, happy. Other hand, all the best facilities surrounded and many friends, but person, something wrong here, will not achieve happy life. So I think we are 21st century. 20th century really become century of real testing human mind, human life. Immense material development take place, and a lot of sort of because of the technologies. But at the same time, the 20th century eventually become century of bloodshed, century of fear, century of violence. Even beginning of this century, those sort of unhappy events, actually the symptom of the past negligence or past mistake. So since immense technology development, material development failed to bring real sort of happy humanity, now we have to find, now time comes, we have to find different ways to explore. Investigation, simply investigation, not just as a faith, right? Investigation. So the education sort of the institutions are key factor to further sort of experiment, to further sort of investigate. I'm very happy in this country, like Wisconsin University, and Emory University, and Stanford University, and then also some university in Canada, I think, and India also. Now there are in education field, this is some people now really feel now existing education system is not adequate. We need further some development. So I'm quite sure you already have some sort of the pockets already here. So please, you carry further sort of the experiment. Then I often see expressing eventually we have to find some kind of curriculum in secular education field about these inner values from kindergarten up to university level. The first kindergarten level, some sort of curriculum, then carry as an experiment one school, limited student. Look, 5 years, what result, what effect? If positive result, then expand another 10 school, then another 100 school. Then things become really convincing. Positive, definitely some positive result come. Then we can, we can adopt larger scale like that. Even finally, federal level, right, like that. Finally, like UN, UNESCO,
Global level.
global level.
Global body.
Oh, I think we can do. That is the real sort of foundation in order to, in order to build happy 21st century as a happy century, peaceful century, peaceful, as I mentioned earlier, very much based on inner peace, compassion. Therefore, I think our ultimate goal is we should make every effort on all levels. Eventually, within this century, we should have a compassionate world, peaceful. Then peaceful world automatically come. We can do. That does not mean the 7 billion human beings all become religious person. No. They're religious believer. They have their own different sort of way to promote this compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. Wonderful. Then those non-believer or those people who not much serious about sort of these inner values, then through education, through awareness, everybody taking care of oneself. So the best way to care one's own physical well-being and mental well-being. So healthy mind bring healthy body and healthy family, like that. So I think that's the way to build, to change, transformation, transform our world. What do you think? Some sense? Thank you. So please think more these things. I often used to telling people after my talk, if you find some sort of sensible thing, some sense, then think more. In those people, if feel you see not much sense, then forget, no problem. I'm leaving day after tomorrow, so no problem. Your problem remain forever with you. So you have to manage. You have to manage. And then, then one thing, America, materially, I think in last century, I think really you made tremendous progress. Now, as I mentioned earlier, some of these universities in this country, I often you see expressing those concerned people. Now, new innovations are there. Innovations from this country. Really, I think worthwhile, really worthwhile. Not only just, you see, material thing, but some other sort of more civilized, sort of advanced sort of thinking. advanced education system. I think you, America, I think greatest democratic country. As far as the population is concerned, the most populated democratic country is India. So India also, in spite of some sort of economy also now improving, and in spite of many difficulties, there are a number of people who really, thinking seriously about this line. Then after all, India, 1,000 years, I think more than 3,000 years, the concept of non-violence, concept of religious harmony, these are something I feel living example on this planet. So I really have sort of great hope, America and India. So please think more on this line. Thank you. Now questions. Okay. Thank you.
The first question, Your Holiness.
Oh.
What are some simple choices we can make every day to live a more compassionate lifestyle?
My thinking, some training naturally, first more easier way, then go like that. Some training, they try to face the hardest. So I think visualize your most disturbed person, right?
Difficult, the most difficult person for you.
Visualize that. Then let anger. Then investigate why I developed this anger. Naturally, when he was young, like school children, no basis of my anger. But few years ago, one time I met one, I think senator or congressman. He told me his young boy, I think boy, asked him, the Saddam Hussein, when he was young, I think he also received maximum sort of affection from his mother. That kind of period must be there. His young son is asking him like that. So that's true. Firstly, investigate. When I develop my anger towards that person, what is the reason? A certain reason. Just out of thousands different actions of that person, just one action irritates me. That's unfair. Some other sort of, and then example yourself. I also, occasionally lose my temper, and some harsh word, some negative face, I also develop. So that person also same way. Thinking these lines, then every event, there are different aspects. From Buddhist viewpoint, everything is relative. So compare this, that's good. Compare this, that's bad. So no absolute good and bad. Thinking these lines, then intensity of your anger, some way, research.
It feels as if it has no basis. It's been revealed, its kind of emptiness.
So that's the way. Okay, sorry. So I think that's one way. Once we really sort of get some experience, some sort of combat the negative emotion directly, once that little sort of soft, then more regularly thinking that line, that's the best way. I think for physical illness, some minor symptoms also, you see, have to remove, but main thing is the main illness. The doctor really deal with main sort of illness. Then all other symptoms automatically reduce. So similar way, that's sort of my thinking. I feel like that.
Next question.
Now, next question.
No. Why should we feel compassion for people who have no remorse?
Remorse kare.
Kyoba.
Ka.
Kyoba. Who have no remorse after committing horrible crimes?
So actually, more reason feel sense of concern. Once we develop some kind of sort of strong feeling, oneness of humanity, there is also, like me, like us, same. All these sort of mistakes, essentially out of ignorance. So we have more reason feel pity, feel concern. So thinking these lines.
Next question, Your Holiness. In your struggle for worldwide peace, what has been the hardest injustice to witness? Were you able to help during such a crisis?
I don't know. That's the share se keminwa.
Narel, the crisis mune ke liye phe.
I think our own case with Tibetan, for example, my own case, at age 16, I lost my freedom. Then 9 years with Chinese communist brothers, sisters, little difficulties. The other day, when I met some Chinese from mainland China, I told them, since 51 to beginning of 59, I lived with communist sort of, or say, friends. So during that period, I also learned how to act hypocrisy. Then, beginning of, April 1959, I reached India as a refugee. That is the real time of liberating from practice of hypocrisy. So 9 years, difficult period. Within nine years, I think best period, 1954, 55, I was in Peking, meeting with Chairman Mao and all Chinese leaders. At that time, I get a lecture about socialism, about international, socialist sort of movement. I very much impressed. At that time, of course, still, as far as Marxism is concerned and socio-economic theory is concerned, I believe I'm Marxist. So at that time, I learned these things. I very much impressed. And Chairman Mao Zedong himself, very nice person. So that time, I want to join Chinese Communist Party. But then the concerned officials say, wait. I think they may know already their party eventually spoiled or rotten party. So in any way, so that period, I think, very, very hopeful sort of period. One example, 1955 summer, when I returned from Peking to Lhasa, same road, the previous year I went. So on the road, I met the, I think, General, the 18th Army Division, sort of, the General, Tang Koha. Very nice person, very nice person. He coming from Lhasa to Peking. So we met on the road. And then I told him, last year, when I coming through this road, a lot of suspicion, a lot of fear. Now I'm coming back full of hope. No fear now, I told him. So that kind of sort of situation at that time. Then, end of 55, beginning of 56, things become really difficult. So that become worse and worse and worse. So 9 years, quite sort of, a lot of sort of anxiety, a lot of worry. It's particularly my position. One way, I'm Tibetan. I have to sort of, take concern about their well-being. Other hand, I also have to sort of every effort, including hypocrisy, to make please the Chinese authority. Then finally, no any sort of choice except escape. Then last, now 53 years, I'm a refugee. And beside our sort of work as a refugee community, for refugee community, but news or event inside Tibet, particularly last 1 or 2 decades, particularly last 1 decade, really terrible. And these days also very, very terrible. So a lot of sort of also the sad things, difficulties there. Now, 2000, on March 10th, 2008, as soon as I received the information from Tibet, the Lhasa people now taking or moving sort of demonstration. And as soon as afternoon, I received that information. And I really get some sort of same experience, which 10th March 1959, similar sort of
Experience.
anguish,
Now, there's
anxiety, hopelessness feeling. So during that period, I visualize those Chinese leaders, hardliner leaders on the spot. I visualize them and practice taking and giving practice. That means taking their anger, their fear, their distrust, and give them my sort of patience and forgiveness and compassion. So that kind of sort of practice, of course, won't help to solving the problem, but in order to maintain my peace of mind, immense help. So things are really desperate. Easily can develop anger and shouting, but deliberately try to keep peace of mind. with sense of concern of their own well-being. So that's my own little experience. And here one sort of example, one Tibetan monk. I know him very well. 59, he also arrested by Chinese authority and put in Chinese prison or Chinese gulag. Next 18 years. Then early 80, after Deng Xiaoping's liberal, more lenient sort of attitude, these people released, and also, you see, find opportunity come to India. So since I know him very well, so I had some casual talk. Then he told me, during 18 years in Chinese prison, he faced some occasions, some dangers. I thought danger on his life, maybe. I asked, what kind of danger? And his answer is danger of losing compassion towards Chinese. So trained person is that kind of attitude. It is really important to keep compassion towards your perpetrator. Losing compassion towards perpetrator, he considers very serious danger. So result, such person's sort of mental state, no sign of trauma. I think you also know, one time our scientific meeting, you see, this subject used to come. Then some scientists, very eager to examine, to interview. Then later they found that these were the people, very unusual, in spite of their sort of several years, sort of that difficult sort of period. But these people's mental state, very peaceful, very calm. So immense benefit to one individual like that. So that's my own little experience. That does not mean I have no anger. No. I often lose my temper. My staff member, they know if something wrongs, then I burst. Yes.
Two last questions.
Yes.
What role would you...
Two, three.
Yes. What role would you say spirituality or religion plays in the peace processes in conflict societies?
If follow any major religions sincerely, seriously, then all major religious traditions, you see, have sort of great potential. Now here, many years ago in Argentina, we had one meeting. Some scientists, some religious leaders, one scientist, the Chilean, I don't know his name, I can't remember. He, great physicist, quantum physicist, he told in our gathering, physicist, however, he should not develop attachment towards his own scientific field, he mentioned. So that's very true. So, for example, I'm Buddhist. I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism, because once I develop attachment is, you see, narrow-minded. Then, you see, with that kind of narrow-minded, you can't see the other things objectively. So your sort of faith towards your own religion is actually biased. So I think that's important. The major religious sort of practitioner, I think here I always making distinction: faith and respect. Faith towards one's own religion, respect to all religions. There's sufficient reasons. All those major religious traditions served humanity last 1,000 years, and at present, millions of people still get benefit, immense inspiration. Then in the future also, these remain one of the source of hope. So there's plenty of reasons to respect. So I'm Buddhist. Sometimes I describe I'm staunch Buddhist. Reason: many texts which we learned from very young age, childhood. Those argument, those critics of the argument by Buddhist masters, Buddhist logicians, mainly Nalanda masters. You see a lot of sort of critical sort of investigation and debate. So we both study that. I think as far as sort of study is concerned, we are same. Now only difference, he disrobed, I'm robed. And some field, he had some more advantage. Some cases, I have more advantages. So, since we study these things, so it easily you should find some contradictions. So therefore, I consider I'm staunch Buddhist. However, I sincerely, seriously respect all other major religious traditions. Whenever I have the opportunity, I make a pilgrimage to different sort of holy sites. This practice I start 1975 in India. Whenever I have the opportunity, I take pilgrimage to all different religious sort of sacred places. So one time, I got an invitation from Joan Main's
group
in England.
World Christian Meditation Community.
I think firstly I met John Main himself, I think in America or Canada. I think Canada I met. I very much impressed. We sit together. He carries some kind of prayer with some musical instrument. Then tear comes. Very sincere. When praising God, appeal to God, tear comes. I very much impressed. And then like Mother Teresa and many other, and American, Thomas Merton, the monk, Trappist monk. Oh, wonderful. And millions of sort of Christian practitioners all over the world who truly dedicated serving to others, mainly in education field and also sort of health field. Such sort of tremendous sort of dedication come from their faith. So there are plenty of reasons to respect. And then practical also, you see, all these major religious traditions, they practice for love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, contentment. Same, all religions. No basis of argument. In the philosophical field, yes, there are big differences. Even within the theistic religion, there are differences. And among the non-theistic religion, also there are differences. But that's a necessity in order to strengthening their real message of love. We need different sort of philosophical views in order to promote, in order to strengthen this practice. Even within the Buddhism, the teacher, Buddha as a teacher, same teacher taught different philosophical views. These different philosophical views itself contradictory each other. Then the question, why Buddha taught contradictory philosophy? Then usually I tell him, that not due to Buddha's own mind, still not very clear, confused. So one day he says something, next day he says something, not that way. Then next question, or then other possibility, he deliberately tried to create more confusion among his disciples. Still no, certainly not. So then answer is, he compelled to tell different views according among his own follower, different mental sort of disposition and mental capacity. So he compelled, he had to sort of tell different views in order to promote practice of love, compassion, forgiveness, these things. So from that, we can easily learn the other tradition. Oh, say there is creator. So everything depends on him. Very powerful sort of way of approach. Like that. So therefore, what point? I forget. What is it? Oh, so you see distinction, respect, and faith. So like that. And then next question.
What do you see to be the most serious conflict or global issue that needs to receive attention?
I think there are plenty of problems. These days, I think I think Syria. Very sad. And also the problem in Afghanistan, and also in Pakistan, within Pakistan, some terrorists. Sad. And inside Tibet also is quite sad. Recently, one good news or good thing is now Burma, the authoritarian military rule now changing. Just today I heard now Aung San Suu Kyi now possibility go outside Burma. So now I'm hoping meeting her. I really admire that tiny lady, very small. Wonderful sort of determination, wonderful willpower. So many years, like house arrest and difficulties, but her sort of face, peaceful face, never changed. And her sort of spirit never damaged. Wonderful, wonderful. So that's one good news. And then what else? Of course, there are good things. There are many different parts of the world. Good things also, you see, there. So I think overall, in spite of some sad events here and there, overall picture, I think humanity becoming more civilized, thinking more mature. This is my view. So I always say no, those sort of questioners, those questions, or humanity basically bad, and human future, the doomed way. That basically, I disagree. We are judging 20th century. At the beginning of 20th century, later part of 20th century, big change. Within my lifetime, I saw big change. Very hopeful. Now, this 21st century, just the beginning of first decade of 21st century, now the continuation of the later part of 20th century, now further goes in including taking care about the mind. And now, number of occasions, politicians, political statement, also you see, there's some room, the word of compassion. These are wonderful, isn't it? Things are changing. Things are changing. And then economic crisis. Itself bad. But one way, it is good to remind you, now you should not take for granted. You must make new thinking, new sort of effort. Good, very good. Isn't it? So even bad event, you can transform. It can be a very good lesson and a further sort of effort, more wiser sort of, more holistic way, like that. And then?
The final question, I think Your Holiness, you have kind of answered it. How do you remain optimistic when there is so much distress and pain in the world?
I think simple answer is, it is far better remain optimistic. Okay. Wait. Look. There is reasons. If you remain, keep optimism, then you may find effort to try to find ways and means to overcome that problem. So, even sort of the 100% sure find ways and means, but there is possibility to find some ways and means to overcome. Right from the beginning, you lose all hope and demoralize and pessimistic, then no ground making effort, then that's the 100% failure. Keep optimism, 1% or 5%, 10% possible overcome. So as a human being, under this sort of head, this brain, you see, there are a lot of sort of activities to keep optimism safe, or keep optimism. So that's why I keep optimism. Thank you.
Mola kan det bli...
What a decent focus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is wonderful.
Thank you.
You're a blessing to us. A blessing.
Thank you.ですね。手のパール。So, bye-bye. Thank you. Do you agree?
I agree.
Oh, very good, very good, very good, very good. Thank you, thank you. Spiritual brother, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, bye-bye.